Shabbat shalom, everyone. It is really so nice to see you all tonight. We knew it was going to be a small crowd. We are a small but mighty crowd tonight, so we are extra pleased that you all are here to help us have a crowd tonight. As a reminder, please, if you have any devices that will distract you in any way, phones, Apple Watches, as I say that, I'm going to turn mine on Do Not Disturb, or anything else. Please turn them off. As a side note, I will tell you that I learned you can create a new focus, at least on Apple Watch, so I created one for services in particular. So if that's something that you have or you would like to do, you can do it for your iPhones and your Apple Watches. A great thing to do, and that way you won't get distracted, or you know just the people who need to contact you in case of emergency can contact you, and that's it. So we begin this Shabbat right after Yom Kippur, where we take a breath, where we center ourselves, where we are taking that time to be glad. Well, I am glad that we're done with the holiday, done with Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, as much as I love them. And we look forward to Sukkot and Simchat Torah, so much celebration over the next few days. We are going to begin our service this evening on page 10 with Hine Matov. And I would invite you all please to sing along with me, use your voices, because even though we are a small group, we are a small but mighty group, so let's fill up our sanctuary together. Hine matov umanayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov umanayim shevet achim gam yachad. How good it is, how sweet it is to be together on this day. How good it is, how sweet it is to be together on this day. Hine matov umanayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov umanayim shevet achim gam yachad. Shalom Aleichem, Salam Aleikum. Shalom Aleichem, Salam Aleikum. Shalom Aleichem, Salam Aleikum. Shalom Aleichem, Salam Aleikum. Hine matov umanayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov umanayim shevet achim gam yachad. And we are going to continue on page, I realized I put the wrong page number down, but it is, let's see. We are going to continue with Shir Chadash, which, if you give me one moment, I can find the actual page number. It would help if I wrote down the page where the Hebrew text is, but that does not help you all, does it? So give me just 1 second so we can get the English with it. 344. There we go, 344. We continue with the words of Shir Chadash. Shiru l'Adonai kol haaretz. Shiru l'Adonai Chadash. Sing unto God all the earth a new song. I will sing unto God a new song. Sing unto God and we'll all sing along. All the earth a new song unto God. Shiru l'Adonai kol haaretz. Shiru l'Adonai shir chadash. I will sing unto God a new song. It's my pleasure at this time to invite up Pat Gibbs to lead us in our candle blessing, which is on page 2.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kishanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahadnek nel shel Shabbat.
Amen. It's often hard to think about welcoming in Shabbat when we've just finished saying Lehitraot. We'll see you later to Yom Kippur. It feels like, I don't know about any of you all, but when I walk in the synagogue doors, I often want to say Shabbat Shalom. And on Yom Kippur, people come to, walk in the doors and say Shabbat Shalom, and then they get very flustered because they're like, oh, wait, it's not Shabbat. But actually, Yom Kippur was a Shabbat, and we call it the Shabbat, Shabbaton. It's the Shabbat of Shabbats. And it feels sort of funny sometimes to feel like we just had services, and again, we're welcoming in Shabbat, and yet here we are, and we have this honor and this pleasure of being able to welcome in Shabbat together, and so we are going to continue to do that now on pages 20 and 21 with L'cha Dodi. As a reminder, we will rise when we sing verse 9 to welcome in the Shabbat bride. L'cha Dodi Likrat kala penei Shabbat nekabela L'cha Dodi Likrat kala penei Shabbat nekabela Shamor v'zachor b'dibor echad Hishmianu el hamyuchad Adonai echad u'shmo echad L'shem u'tiferet ve'litila L'cha Dodi Likrat kala penei Shabbat nekabela L'cha Dodi Likrat kala penei Shabbat nekabela Boi v'shalom ateret bala Gam besimcha uv'tola toch emunei am segula bo'ichala L'cha Dodi Likrat kala penei Shabbat nekabela L'cha Dodi Likrat kala penei Shabbat nekabela. We remain standing as we turn to page 28 for the Baruch Hu, our call to worship. Please be seated. Let's read together on page 30 in the Hebrew. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim bechokma potach sha'arim uvitvuna meshane itim umachalif et hazmanim umsader et hakochavim b'mishmerotehem barakia kirtzono borei yom v'layla golel or mipnei choshech v'choshech mipnei or uma'avir yom umevi laila uma'avdil bein yom uvein laila Adonai tzevaot shemo El chai v'kayam tamid yimloch aleinu leolam va'ed Baruch atah Adonai hama'ariv aravim. On page 33. Wisdom and wonder, passion and instruction, story and symbol. All these things your Torah gives to us. And the more we devote ourselves to it, the more it grows and gives. What could be a truer token of your abiding love than this holiest of your works and the living language that gives it form? Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. Please rise as we continue with the Shema on page 34. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Leolam Vaed. Please be seated. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha bechol levavcha vechol nafshecha uvechol meodecha ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi metzavecha hayom alevavecha Meshinantam levanecha v'dibartam bam beshivtecha beveitecha uvlechtecha vaderech uvshochbecha uvkumecha ukshartam leot al yadacha v'hayu letotafot bein einecha uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha uvisharecha leman tiskerum va'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'item kedoshim lelohechem ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzei etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim Lihiot lachem lelohim ani Adonai Elohechem. On page 39 at the top, let's read together. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands and marching together. We continue singing Micha Mocha on page 40. Micha Mocha Bailim Adonai Micha Mocha Nedar Bakodesh Nora Tehilot Tehilot Osei malchutecha ra'uvanecha bokei ayam lifnei Moshe u'Miriam zeli anu ve'ameru Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai mi chamocha nedar ba'kodesh Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed. On page 43, let's read together at the top. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up waiting to do your will. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukkot shalom aleinu, ve'al kol amo Yisrael, ve'al Yerushalayim. In the world of the rabbinate, when we're thinking about sermons, we always have to think about, is this the sermon that we want to give, or is this the sermon that we think our community needs to give? And so too, or needs to hear rather. And so too, when we think about songs, and particularly on a night like tonight, when maybe unsurprisingly, I'm feeling a little low energy, we think about, are there songs that we need high energy for or low energy, and what do I think the community needs, and what do I need? And so Vishamru, we're going to do upbeat because I need an upbeat song, and I'm hoping that you all will sing along with me. You all know this one, and that way we can bring some energy as we head into Shabbat. So let's sing Vishamru together. Veshamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Veshamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Beini uvein bnei Yisrael oti leolam, oti leolam. Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et ha-shamayim ve'et ha'aretz. Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Uvayom hashvi shavat vayinafash, shavat vayinafash, shavat vayinafash. Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. We are a people in whom the past endures, in whom the present is inconceivable without moments gone by. The Exodus lasted a moment enduring forever. What happened once upon a time happens all the time. We continue with the Amidah beginning on page 46. Please rise. Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi agite hilatecha. Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi agite hilatecha. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Ve'Elohei Leah. Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor ve'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Ve'Konei Ha'kol, V'zocher chastei avot v'imahot, u'mevi ge'ula livnei v'neihem, למען שמו באהבה, מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי מתים אתה רב להושיע, מוריד הטל, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי מתים ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר, מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומידו מלך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות מתים. ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיי המתים. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש. Please be seated. In the middle of page 57, you are with us in our prayer, our love and our doubt, in our longing to feel your presence and do your will. You are the still clear voice within us. Therefore, O God, when doubt troubles us, when anxiety makes us tremble, when pain clouds the mind, we look inward for the answers to our prayers. There may we find you, and there find courage, insight, and endurance. And let our worship bring us closer to one another, that all Israel and all who seek you may find new strength for your service. Baruch atah Adonai, she'otcha levadcha bi'yara na'avod. We continue now singing our prayer for peace, Shalom Rav, on page 60. Shalom Rav. Shalom Rav al Yisrael amcha tasim le'olam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael amcha tasim le'olam. Ki atahu melech adon lechol hashalom. Shalom, Shalom Rav al Yisrael amcha tasim le'olam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael amcha tasim leolam, v'tov b'einecha levarech et amcha Yisrael, bechol edu v'chol shah, bishlomecha, shalom rav al Yisrael amcha, tasim leolam, shalom rav al Yisrael amcha, tasim leolam, tasim leolam, tasim leolam. We continue now with a few moments of silent prayer and reflection using either the words of our hearts or the words of the pages in front of us. Yehiyu leratzon imrefi vehegyon libi lefanecha Adonai tsuri Adonai tsuri vegali vegali. Instead of doing a Torah service tonight, we are going to do a Torah study. All of you should have gotten a handout in your Siddur. If you did not, our wonderful usher Deb has some in the back for you. Everybody have one? And I actually was having a conversation with Deb before services, and she said to me, well, when do we do a Torah study and when do we do a Torah reading? And I said, well, you know, the point when we do something with Torah is to learn Torah, is to study Torah in some way. And so whether that is reading from the Torah, the physical scroll of the Torah, or studying the words of the Torah, we are fulfilling that same intention. And so tonight, we are going to study some Torah. We are in the second to last Torah portion, for the entirety of the Torah. Anybody know the name of this Torah portion? Ha'azinu, beautiful. And does anybody know the name of the last Torah portion? No. V'zot habracha. And this is the blessing, right? The very last blessing that Moses receives and that we receive from God. And so we are at the end, and Ha'azinu actually is really beautiful. It's written as a poem. You can't tell based on the way that I formatted it, although if you read the English, you can sort of see how it could be, and it is poetic. And if you look at this in the Torah, it is written in columns. It's written differently than sort of the regular columns. There's two little columns, so it tells you that this is poetry. This is something special, and this is Moses' final speech to the Israelites. as they're about to head into the land of Egypt, Moses knows, and the Israelites know, that Moses can't go in. And this is like his final chance to say, remember all these things that you are supposed to do before you go into Israel, because I can't come with you to make sure that you know them. And in this speech, he begins, give ear, O heavens, let me speak. Let the earth hear the words I utter. May my discourse come down as rain, my speech distill as the dew, like showers on young growth, like droplets on the grass. For the name of Adonai I proclaim, give glory to our God. And this is how this speech starts, right? How poetic, how beautiful this language that Moses is using, right? Or really that the words of God that Moses is sharing, right? And here's the interesting thing, right? The all of the commentators hook onto those first two words, ha'azinu hashamayim, right? Give ear, O heavens, right? Imagine this, right? You can, I don't know about you all, but when I read literally give ear, O heavens, what do I imagine? A giant ear made out of a cloud listening down, right? It's of course not exactly what they mean, but it's this idea that the heavens are listening, right? Listen, and who's located in the heavens? Who's really listening? Not a trick question. Anybody have an answer? God, right? God is up in the heavens. God is all around us, right? Listen, let me speak, right? And these commentators hook onto this for some really interesting reasons. And we have a number of medieval commentators, the first of whom is Chizkuni, and he talks about how the word ha'azinu comes from the word ozen. Now, ozen means ear. Right, if you've ever heard, it's a slight tangent, right? On Purim, what are the cookies that we eat? What are they called? Hamantaschen. What language is the word Hamantaschen in? What? It's not German, it's Yiddish. Hamantaschen are Yiddish, right? Does anybody know what they're called in Hebrew? They're called Oznei Haman, the ears of Haman, because they're meant to be like the ears that he was hung from, right? So we have this word ears that has a lot of significance, right? When else do we talk about listening in some capacity? Give ear in some way, a prayer that we just said earlier on. Scott, do you know? We talk about when we listen? The Shema. Exactly, right? So this is a theme that we have throughout, this idea that we're supposed to be listening and hearing. And Chizkuni says, Moses asks the heavens and the earth, right? These are not beings. These are not humans. Moses is saying to the heavens above and the earth below, lend your ears, listen to what I am going to say, right? And Chizkuni reminds us that it's a build on the last verse of Vayelech, which is the portion that comes before it, where Moses announced that this poem was coming. And so he calls on the heavens and earth, the eternal heavens and earth, to act as witnesses. Right? Now just think about that for a moment. The eternal heavens and earth. Why would he call on the eternal heavens and earth to act as witnesses? They're perpetual, right? And we as humans, are we eternal? No, right? And so Moses in this last plea is saying, I need witnesses that I know will continue on, right? Lest the people of Israel forget what I'm saying, lest they all deny that I've said what I've said, right? God forbid that they should all die, right? I need witnesses that are eternal. Heaven and earth are those witnesses, right? In Nitzavim that we just read on Yom Kippur, right? We read, see, I set before you this day life and death, blessing and curse, right? That you should hear me, and I call to mind heaven and earth as witnesses, right? It happens again and again, reminding us that we have these witnesses, these eternal witnesses that are there for us, right? So we begin with this explanation that they're there because Moses, as a mortal, we as human beings, we can't be those witnesses always because we're human beings, right? We need something that, as Anne said, is perpetual, right? And so then Rashi builds on that, and he says, that in the same, talking about the same first two words, that I warn Israel that you shall be witnesses to this matter, for so I have told them that you will be witnesses, right? And why did he call heaven and earth as witnesses against them? Moses thought, I am a being of flesh and blood, a mortal. Tomorrow I shall be dead. If the Israelites will once say, we have never accepted the covenant, who can come and refute them? Therefore he called heaven and earth as witnesses against them, witnesses that endure forever. Now think about this for a moment, right? None of us ever want to think about our last day on earth or our last living days, right? But in Moses' last living days, his thoughts are, the Israelites are going to say that they never accepted the covenant? Like, that's his fear? Think about that. All this work that Moses has done to get them out from Egypt, to wander in the desert, to become a community, to become a religion, to build what they have as the Israelites, and his last thoughts are going to be about the fact that he's worried that the Israelites are not going to accept the covenant. That's a lot of weight to carry, right? It's I would imagine, thinking and having spent time with people in their last days and hours, the burdens that they carry in thinking about, have I done enough? Have I fulfilled my duties? Have I helped to teach the next generation, right? And people carry that. And Moses here is carrying that also, this major weight. Is this covenant that Abraham made with God, that God made with Abraham, will it continue on past when I die? And that's really what he's talking about, right? And so it's just, you can't even imagine thinking that you've led these people for 40 years, and yet, I don't know if tomorrow they're going to wake up and say, hey, we don't really think we have a covenant anymore. Let's go have a party in Israel, right? And they could. That's what Moses is worried about. So I want to skip over to Sifrei Devarim, where they continue to comment on this. It's on the back of your page. And it says, Moses appointed over Israel 2 witnesses, heaven and earth, that live forever, telling them, I am but flesh and blood. Tomorrow I will die. This is what we've read. If they wish to say they never received the Torah, who will come and refute them? Therefore God appointed them 2 witnesses that live forever. And the Holy One, blessed be God, who made this Ha'azinu song a witness. Devarim 31:19, so that the song be for me a witness in the children of Israel. God said, the Son will be witness for them below and I above. Right? So we have this eternal witness. And what did that turn into? That turned into our Torah that we have, right? This witness that passes on from generation to generation that reminds us. How many times in the Torah, and I don't actually know the answer to this, does it say something about teaching your children, right? To teach the next generation. Of course, we have the Ve'ahavta. We are reminded of it in Ha'azinu also, right? This idea that we have to teach them lest the next generation wake up and say, we never had a covenant, right? It's on us. It's all of our responsibilities to teach the next generation. And how do we do that? We do that by studying Torah, and we do that by learning, and we do that by being able to teach, right? Everybody here has learned something from someone who's older than them, right? I think about, what is it that I learned from my parents? What is it that I learned from my grandparents? I'm lucky enough to be able to ask the question, what is it that I learned from my great-grandparents, right? And we ask those questions. We should continue to ask those questions, and we should continue as we sit and we talk to either the next generation or the generation above us. We ask that same question, right? Who are my witnesses? How will I ensure that this story is carried on and taught to the next generation? How do I ensure the continuity not only of the Jewish community, but of my family in some way, of my story, right? And that's really what Moses is doing. He's asking, how do I make sure that the story of the Israelites, that the story of God, that the story of us is taught from generation to generation? And that's through the Torah. The Torah is our witness, right? And so in the Talmud, they have a really fascinating conversation it says Avodah Zarah. And it says, Rava says, in accordance with the statement from Rabbi Yehuda Hanasi, a person should always learn Torah from a place in the Torah that his heart desires, as it is stated, but his delight is in the Torah of the Lord. And Rabbah also says with regard to this verse, initially the Torah is called by the name of the Holy One, blessed be God, but ultimately it was called by the name of the one who studies it. As it is first stated, his delight is in the Torah of the Lord. And in the continuation of the verse it states, and in his Torah he meditates day and night. This teaches through study one acquires ownership, as it were, of the Torah, right? And there are other commentaries that actually teach that Moses, right, was able to, he studied the words of God so much that the Torah became Moses's, right? It's the word of Moses is in the Torah, right? It's often what we call it, right? Each of us has the potential to call the Torah ours as well, right? It is our word, all of us, because it is our story in some way. And so what this is teaching us, and really what Hazinu is about studying, is about learning and finding that passion so that we don't wake up and say the covenant never happened, right? We find that place in Torah that we love or that interests us, and we study that so that we can pass on to the next generation and say, this is our story. And the heavens and the earth are the witnesses that taught us, and we now teach the next generation that this is our story, that this is the story of the Jewish people, and that this is our family's story. And that's really what Hazinu is about, right? At the end of the day, at the end of life, when we think about what is my legacy? What do I want to leave behind? And for Moses, it was the Torah, it was the Israelite people, it was the journey that they went on, and it was the story that became our history, right? And that is really what we learn from studying Hazinu. So I would encourage you all to take a look at some point at the full text of Hazinu. It is beautiful, beautiful poetry. And it teaches us a lot. It reminds us a lot about what it is that we need to do in order to carry on the legacy for our next generation. Now, one of the things that we do to carry on the legacy and to remember our story is we think and we tell the story of those people who are in need of healing. We support them, we send them love, we hold them in our hearts in all sorts of different ways. And so tonight we think about a number of people in our community who are in need of healing. We think of Rabbi Bruce Goldwasser, Steve Danziger, Rabbi Fred Wenger, Bridget Stern, Alan Wolski, Lila Warshawski, Joyce Sefman, Michael Notaris, Javier Vega, Joyce Fishman, Soren Carlson, Rachel Weingart, Frederick Bryan, Lisa Stack, Carol Nymark, Shelley Helper, John Eulenberg, Joy Rosenthal, Martin Kolber, Beverly Calvin, Beatrice Schwartz, Obi Sherman, Jeff Bobst, and all who suffer whom we know not by name. Mi Shaberach Avotinu Avraham Yitzchak Yaakov, Ve'imotenu Sarah Rivka Rachel V'Leah, Hu Yevarech V'Yirapeh Kol Holei Yisrael, Vayishlach Lahem Bimhera Refuah Shlema, Refuata Nefesh, Refuata Guf, V'Nomar. Amen. May God, who blessed our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebekah, Rachel, and Leah, bless and heal all who are stricken. May the Holy One of Praise mercifully restore them to health and to vigor. May God grant them health of body, health of spirit, health of mind, and let us say, Amen. We continue now with Misha Berach on page 253. Misha Berach Avotenu Mekor HaBracha Leimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mi sheberach Mikor habracha le'avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shleimah. The renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. It's my pleasure to invite up Ann Stewart to read our prayer for the country on page 258, and Steve Ivanelli to read our prayer for Israel on page 259. Just remember, yeah.
O guardian of life and liberty, may our nation always merit your protection. Teach us to give thanks for what we have by sharing it with those who are in need. Keep our eyes open to the wonders of creation and alert to the care of the earth. May we never be lazy in work of peace. May we honor those who have died in our defense of our ideals. Grant our leaders wisdom and forbearance. May they govern with justice and compassion. Help us all to appreciate one another and to respect the many ways that we may serve you. May our homes be safe from affliction and strife, and our country be sound in body and spirit. Amen.
O Heavenly One, protector and redeemer of Israel, bless the state of Israel, which marks the dawning of hope for all who seek peace. Shield it beneath the wings of your love. Spread over it the canopy of your peace. Send your light and truth to all who lead and advise, guiding them with your good counsel. Establish peace in the land and fullness of joy for all who dwell there. Amen.
Okay, Shabbat Shalom. Thank you for celebrating Shabbat with us tonight. I'm Ricardo Martinez, and I'm honored to share our announcements with you this evening. Thank you to our usher, Deborah Prince, and our greeter, Rachel Wood. Thank you to the security team for providing security this evening. There will be no temple tailgate, Tumler, Sunday morning, and the office will be closed Sunday and Monday in honor of Sukkot and Indigenous Peoples Day. Erev Sukkot services will be at 6 p.m. on Sunday. We are continuing our Sukkot tradition this year with a collection of pretty packages of diapers and wipes, specifically sizes 3 through 6T, to be donated to the People's Resource Center. Please bring donations to Erev Sukkot services on Sunday. There's a particular member of this congregation who works for Huggies, and if you would like to choose Huggies when you buy diapers and wipes, that would be awesome. I heard he's really cool. Keep an eye out for more information on events involving Mordecai Rosenstein, our artist in residence, from November 10th through November 13th. For more details on these and other upcoming events, check out our weekly happenings email. Please join us after services for a wonderful oneg in the social hall. Shabbat Shalom.
And I want to say a personal additional thanks to Jason because I sent him an outline for this service today, and he has learned a lot of this music today, and this is only his second High Holidays, and I don't think he knew what he signed up for when you said you would play services tonight, 2 days after Yom Kippur. So thank you for accompanying us and providing beautiful music tonight. We are going to begin concluding our service with Aleinu on page 282. Scott, you want to help me open the ark? Please rise. be seated. Let the time not be distant, O God, when all shall turn to you in love, when corruption and evil shall give way to integrity and goodness, when superstition shall no longer enslave the mind, nor idolatry blind the eye. O may all created in your image become one in spirit and one in friendship, forever united in your service. Then shall your realm be established on earth, and the word of your prophet fulfilled. Adonai will reign forever and ever. V'nemar v'haya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz bayom hahu Yehieh Adonai echad u'shemo echad. We think of our loved ones whom death has recently taken from us, those who have died at this season in years past, and those whom we have drawn into our hearts with our own. On this Shabbat, we remember Anna Karshan, mother of Roberta Berman, Sharon Sondheim, mother of Laura Talbot, Mildred Wasserman, mother of Mark Wasserman, Hetty Ehrlich, mother of Francis Peshkin, Alicia Reimar, mother of Sonia Miller, Sidney Guerin, uncle of Michael Jordan, Michael Peck, father of David Peck, Sidney Bernstein, father of Joel Bernstein, Kalman Gronich, father-in-law of Eric Blaustein, Rose Rubenstein, mother of Merle Ehrlich, Rivtech Goldfarb, mother of Fran Dvorkin, Harold Ross, uncle of Carol Nymark, Jerry Grossman, father of Michelle Barrett, Ben Glass, father of Michael Glass, Inga Gruber, grandmother of Bonnie Madison, Gad Jacobson, father of Beryl Jacobson, Evelyn Rosenberg, mother of Edward Rosenberg, David Sack, father of Eleanor Saliamonis, Dorothy Paskind, mother of Harriet Heisler, Elizabeth Stevens, grandmother of Sherry Katz, Jean Copeland, wife of Al Copeland and mother of Caroline Palmer, Phil Bass, uncle of Shelley Miller, Jacob Rovell, grandfather of Merle Ehrlich, Irving Schleimer, father of Judy Strauss-Lipkin, Helen Stam, mother of Judy Frankel and grandmother of Daniel Frankel, Bernice Olevsky, mother of Robin Channon, and we mourn the recent passing of Rhoda Harrop, mother of Stephen Harrop and grandmother of Leah and Josh Harrop. We join together as one community to recite the Mourner's Kaddish on page 294. Please rise. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, be'alma divrach yirteh v'yamlich malchuteh, b'chayechon uvyomechon uvchaye dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala v'zman kari v'imru, amen. Yehei shemei Rabbah mevarach le'olam u'almei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, V'yit hadar, v'yit aleh, v'yit halal, shmeid kudesha berechu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tush bechata v'nechemata, damiran be'alma v'imru, amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us and to all Israel, to which we say, amen. You may be seated. We are going to conclude our services tonight with the words of Oseh Shalom. Oseh Shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu. Oseh Shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu. Oseh Shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom. Shalom Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu. Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. And let's join together in Kiddush. We are on page 5 if you would like to follow along. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu. V'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu. Zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit, ki hu yom techila lemikra'e kodesh, zecher letziat mitzrayim. Ki vanu v'acharta ve'otanu kidashta mikol hamim, v'shabbat kodshecha be'ahava uvratzon hinchaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh ha-shabbat. Amen. L'chaim. We join together in Motzi. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz b'tei avon. May it be a relaxing, rejuvenating, refilling Shabbat. Shabbat shalom.